excited to be once again bringing you Syracuse Chiefs baseball. There have been a number of changes since our last Chiefs cablecast way back in 1989. For one thing, we have a new name. We're now Adelphia Cable Communications. The Chiefs have a new manager, Nick Leva. Since 1989, only two players are still with the Syracuse Chiefs, Stu Peterson and Ed Sprague. And also, since 1989, there have been a couple of changes on the broadcasting side. The Chiefs have a new radio station now, WHEN, but they still have the same radio voice, but now you know his face thanks to his TV work on Channel 5, Dan Horde. And Dan, this is a Syracuse Chiefs team that has struggled here in the early going.
No question about it. Syracuse got off to a very rough start this year, losing the first 4 games, even though they led in all 4 of those games. The team has been playing better lately. The Chiefs with 3 wins in their last 4 games, including a thriller last night here at Macarthur Stadium that Syracuse pulled out in the bottom of the 10th.
This is a night game tonight, and the Chiefs have had their troubles winning at night. What's behind that?
I don't know. The same thing's happened to the Montreal Expos this year. Teams that are kind of the opposite of Count Dracula. They only come out in the day as opposed to at night. The Chiefs have a winning record in the day, a bad record at night, but they did win last night, and maybe they can make it 2 in a row tonight.
Now, big things were expected of the Chiefs shortstop this year, Eddie ZOSKY. In fact, he had a chance of making the parent club in spring training, but he's been rather dismal so far in the field and at the plate.
You know, it's strange. A lot of times you'll get a ball player who might be from the Dominican Republic or Venezuela that struggles in April in Syracuse when the weather's really cold. Well, Eddie ZOSKY is not from one of those 2 places, but he is from California, and it's the 2nd year in a row where he has started slowly. I don't know if the cold weather gets to him or the rain that's been in the air, but he has had a slow start this season. He's hoping to come around much like the ball club.
The Columbus Clippers have some big names, Hensley, Bam Bam Mullins, and Bernie Williams, formerly of the Yankees. Hensley had a tough time last night with 4 errors at third base.
Yes, he went 0 for 5 in the game as well. It was a rough game for Bam Bam Mullins, but he is the league leader in home runs. He was this league's most valuable player last year. And if anyone is likely to clear the center field wall here, which has only happened 8 times in history, Bam Bam might be the guy to do it.
Last time it happened, it was live on Cable 13. We'll be back with the starting lineups right after this. The Syracuse Chiefs play here all season long on Cable 13. This is Dave Cohen inviting you to join us for exclusive coverage of Syracuse Chiefs baseball in May, June, July, and August. Follow the Major League stars of tomorrow today on Cable 13. And stay with the Chiefs as they strive for the International League pennant while contributing to the Blue Jays' effort to win the American League pennant. It's Syracuse Chiefs baseball only on Cable 13.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old Salt City. We're gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
Cheer for the Chiefs.
And with the wind blowing from left to right field here at MacArthur Stadium, we're set for baseball. Doug Linton, the Syracuse Chiefs starting pitcher tonight, going without much of a baseball undershirt. It is quite a bit cooler now than it was this afternoon. He'll be facing Bernie Williams, switch hitter batting left, to lead off for the Columbus Clippers, who lead the Western Division of the International League. Joining me for the first couple of innings tonight, the baseball writer of the Herald Journal, Tom Leo. Tom, nice to have you on board. Here's Doug Linton's first pitch to Bernie Williams. And it's a called strike. Paul Bartolotti is the home plate umpire. Bernie Williams batting at .297. 2 homers, 13 runs batted in. He has stolen 6 bases. So he has the combination of power and speed. Goes the opposite way, and he's behind on the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Tom, what about the starting pitching for the Chiefs to this point? We know they've had trouble with relief pitching.
The starters started slowly, but they've really come on as of late. Doug Linton has pitched very well in 2 of his last 3 outings. Tomorrow's pitcher, John Shea, has allowed 1 run in his last 21 innings. Al Leiter has not pitched poorly. The problems now are basically in the bullpen.
Infield plays deep against Williams. The outfield deep and left and right. Breaking pitch. Blocked by the Chief catcher tonight.
Linton is basically a curveball specialist. He uses his fastball to set up his curve, which is really his out pitch.
Ed Sprague is behind the plate. Domingo Martinez at first. Jerry Shunk is the second baseman. Tom Quinlan is at third, and Eddie ZOSKY is at short. The outfield has Scott Wade in left, Ryan Thompson in center, and Stu Peterson in right field. There's the big breaking pitch. Martinez with a backhand who will make the play unassisted, one away. If you were here at MacArthur Stadium last night, you saw the debut of Don Stanford at MacArthur Stadium. Stanford, a graduate of Henniger High School and Onondaga Community College, made his first appearance at MacArthur Stadium. We hope to have him along in a little while to introduce you to the rest of the batting order for these Columbus Clippers. One away, and here is Mike Humphreys now, the left fielder. He's hitting at .217.
Stanford had a fine outing last night. He struck out 4 hitters in 2 1/3 innings. Got a tough loss because of an error by Mullins.
In the air to center field, Ryan Thompson one-hands it, and quickly there are 2 away. At about 5 o'clock this afternoon, a weather system moved in out of the west. Temperatures were in the mid-80s. It was hot this afternoon. Strong winds, not that much rain here at MacArthur Stadium. The Chiefs were able to take batting practice early. The Clippers did not hit. The field was covered from about 5:30 up until about a half hour before game time, and the field should be fairly dry. Here's Dave Silvestri, the shortstop. There's the breaking pitch for a strike. This is a pretty good hitting Columbus Clipper team. Silvestri batting at .293, 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. Fastball on the corner, and Linton working ahead of the hitters here in the first inning.
Some of the Clippers did manage to take a little BP out in the makeshift batting cage out behind the right field fence. But no way they could get on the field with the tarp down.
Nick Leyva's Syracuse Chiefs are 2-14 in night games. Big breaking pitch, and it's fouled off of the plate and off of the batter. Dave Silvestri, Torey Lovullo waits on deck.
The sad part about that, Dave, is there's not many day games left on the schedule.
This year, night games, 7 o'clock start, so in a sense, the Chiefs are playing part of those games in the daylight.
We'll have to get them early.
Now Doug Linton with a no-ball, 2-strike count to Dave Silvestri. Wind continues to blow from left to right. Breaking pitch is lined into the glove of Jerry Shunk, who timed his leap perfectly at second base, and it becomes a 1-2-3 inning. Good job of Silvestri waiting on that pitch, and Shunk timed his leap perfectly, and the Clippers go down in order 1-2-3 here in the top of the first. So right now, let's bring you the Syracuse Chiefs batting order tonight, and to do the honors, Ryan Thompson.
Ryan Thompson, Syracuse Chiefs, and tonight I'm going to give you the starting lineups for the Syracuse Chiefs. Leading off, playing center field, myself, Ryan Thompson. Batting second, playing shortstop, Eddie ZOSKY. Batting third, DHing tonight for the Chiefs, Mike MAKSUDIAN, the Sheik, as he's known. Catching and batting in the fourth slot, cleanup, Ed Sprague. Batting fifth, playing first base for the Syracuse Chiefs tonight, Domingo Martinez. Batting sixth for the Syracuse Chiefs, everybody knows him as their fan favorite, Stu Peterson, playing right field. Batting seventh for the Syracuse Chiefs tonight, playing third base, Tom Quinlan. Playing left field for the Syracuse Chiefs tonight, and batting in the eighth slot, Scott Wade. And batting ninth tonight, clean up the order, Jerry Shunk playing second base.
That's Ryan Thompson with the Syracuse Chiefs batting order and defense. And here's the way the Columbus Clippers line up defensively. J.T. Snow, son of the former Los Angeles Rams wide receiver, is at first base. Bobby Desjardins at second. Dave Silvestri at short, and Torey Lovullo at third. Mike Humphreys, Bernie Williams, and Billy Massey in right field. Brad AUSMUS behind the plate, and Russ Springer is on the mound. Springer is 6'4", 195-pounder out of Alexandria, Louisiana, former college teammate of Big Ben McDonald at LSU. And there are his numbers so far in the early going. And here's our lineup deliverer, Ryan Thompson, leading off tonight for the first time this season.
Yeah, Butch Davis and Eddie ZOSKY have been sharing that role. Davis is of late. Davis just getting a day off. There was some thought that he wasn't in the lineup because of an injury, but it is just a day off according to Leva. Thompson gets the nod.
And the fastball from Springer is high and tight. Up until this point, Thompson is normally batted down in the 8-hole for the Chiefs.
Leva early in the season said he would keep him there because he's a young player, and down hitting that low in the order, he's apt to see better pitches.
That was not a good pitch. He went after the high heat. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
All 5 of Thompson's home runs came very early in the season, all against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, all solo homers to left center field.
That's a strike at the knees, so now it's 1-2. Has Thompson shown an ability to bunt?
He has not bunted, to my knowledge, this season. He tried to sacrifice once, didn't get the bunt down. That's the first time I've seen him try to bunt for a hit.
Now behind 1-2, in the air and foul, out of play down the right side. Right field is where you want to hit the ball if you're going to hit it into the air tonight, because the wind is blowing fairly briskly that direction. Laid off the high heat that time, and the count goes even now at 2-2.
You know, early in the season, Ryan was using a batting stance that was very reminiscent of former Chief Derek Bell. He would keep his hands and his wrists in tight close to his body, but now he's got the hands up over his shoulder.
And he is a strikeout victim of Russ Springer going after the high one. Strikeout number 1 for Springer. And that'll bring up Eddie ZOSKY. Here's a look at those hands, Tom. And a bat wrapped around the head.
Right, and not a good swing. He might want to get those hands back where he had them earlier in the season.
Eddie ZOSKY changed his uniform number last night from number 1 to number 4.
He said the only reason he did it was to change his luck. Cummins comes into this game with a 159 batting average and 14 errors. So his luck does need a little changing.
14 errors in 25 games?
25 games. Last year he made 24 for the entire season. Most of those errors were early. He really improved defensively as the season went on. So he's hoping maybe a change in uniforms will get him going on the right track again.
Made 24 errors in 119 games last year. And already he's got 14 in the first 25. And it was actually less than 25.
And last year he was the International League's all-star shortstop.
Obviously very disappointed that he didn't make the parent club. That pitch is high, and the count now goes to 3-1.
You know, it's funny. I talked to him about midway through spring training, and he seemed convinced that he was headed towards, to Syracuse, and said he was in the mindset that he was going to come down here and work hard, and it wasn't going to bother him.
Went after a bad pitch, a low pitch, which would have been ball 4, and now the count goes full to Eddie ZOSKY. Has he been a disciplined hitter at the plate?
Not really. He went about 80 at-bats this year before he walked, and he was hitting in the leadoff spot.
So that was an example right there.
Right.
And he fouls this one off to keep the count full. I'd estimate now the temperatures are in the low 60s or upper 50s after an 80-degree-plus afternoon. Doesn't appear to be any kind of threat of rain, so if you're planning on coming out, don't let the weather deter you. Big breaking pitch, and ZOSKY knew it. Before that ball even fell into the strike zone, he knew that he had been fooled, and then he just watched it plummet to knee level, and here's a look at it. Resignation set in early on that one.
Yeah, when you see those knees bend, you know that the pitcher's won the battle.
So Springer starting off with a pair of strikeouts, one swinging, one looking, and here is the powerful Mike MAKSUDIAN. Fastball away. Last night, MAKSUDIAN hit a ball off the base of the Blue Monster 434 feet away. That was after earlier he had hit one 410 feet off the base of the wall. Springer concerned, pitching away from MAKSUDIAN. He's behind 2-0.
The Chiefs manager, Nick Lave, is going to have a little dilemma on his hands in a few days when outfielder Turner Ward reports there guys like MAKSUDIAN and Butch Davis, veterans on the team, could get squeezed out of the lineup. And really, they've been the team's most consistent hitters. You know, here in AAA, the rule is you play the prospects, and there may not be a lot of playing time for a guy like MAKSUDIAN, which is really a shame.
Butch Davis not in the lineup tonight, but he is hitting .340 and leads the International League with 37 hits. MAKSUDIAN with a 2-1 count against Springer. A little late on that swing at the fastball, and now the count is even at 2-2, and Springer is one strike away from fanning the side here in the first inning. Ripped into right field for a base hit. Cut off by Billy Massey. MAKSUDIAN's going to try for second, and the throw is a poor one. It goes into the center of the infield. So Mike MAKSUDIAN alertly kept the motor going, and he goes into second base with a stand-up double.
That was scored actually as a single and an error on the right fielder who bobbled that ball out there.
Look at it again, and let's see about the bobble. There it is, and then a poor throw. He might have had a chance with a good throw, but Billy Massey, as you saw, overshot second base. So a single and an error. And here's Ed Sprague batting now with a runner at second and 2 men out. Badly fooled on that inside pitch. A little bit later in the season, in the summertime, that ball would probably roll through and get by the right fielder. But the grass, not only here at MacArthur Stadium, but all around the Syracuse area, is slow. It's thick and it's slow as a result of all the rain this spring. The 0-1 pitch. This one is lined down the right field line. It's a fair ball. MAKSUDIAN rounds third. He'll come in. Massey will hold Sprague to a single to right field, but it's a run batted in. And the error made by Massey has allowed the Chiefs to take a 1-0 lead as Eddie Sprague drives in his 15th run of the year. Syracuse 1 and Columbus nothing. Inside out swing, and he drove it into right field.
Nice piece of hitting by Sprague.
JT Snow will hold the runner on now as Domingo Martinez, who's struggling, comes to the plate. Domingo only 2 home runs here in the first month of the year. Got a good pitch and tipped it back into the glove of the Columbus catcher.
It's a little bit of a reunion time for Ed Sprague here in this series. He was a member of that 1988 Olympic team in Seoul. The Clippers have 2 guys who played on that team, shortstop Dave Silvestri and outfielder Billy Massey.
Breaking pitch, good job of blocking it by Brad AUSMUS. I was at those games in Seoul. Very interesting field there, and the pitching mound was not much of a mound. Pitchers had trouble adjusting to it. Very, very bright and sunny, incredibly sunny. Now the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Sprague with a modest lead. Off-speed delivery misses. It's 2-1. The Chiefs have a run on 2 hits and an error that figures prominently. It allowed MAKSUDIAN to go down to second base after a single. And he came around to score moments ago, and Ed Sprague single to right. Two balls and 2 strikes now to Martinez.
Martinez is hitting only .203 coming into the game, but he's 4 for his last 16. Hit both homers on the road last week. 5 RBIs in his last 4 games. Started the season 0 for 13.
Got around that time on the fastball and fouled it off, so Count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. What do you see as Domingo's future in the Toronto organization?
Well, I think they like him. He's a very good defensive first baseman, probably the best in the organization. He's a big guy. They'd like to see him hit for a little bit more power. You know, they're pretty set with John Olerud, but they're very high on Domingo Martinez.
He got the breaking pitch, and the count is out full now at 3-2. So Springer handled the first 2 batters, Thompson and ZOSKY, striking them out. Then a single by MAKSUDIAN, a single by Sprague, and now the count full to Domingo Martinez with Stu Pederson on deck and Rocket Wheeler deep in the third base coaching box. Good job of hitting to protect the outside corner.
You know, Dave, a guy like Martinez may not end up helping the Blue Jays in Toronto, but they could use him as trade bait. Might be a very valuable prospect for another organization and get the Blue Jays a player to fill another hole.
What about with expansion coming up, Tom? Are these players looking forward to possibly getting a shot at Colorado or Florida? Runner goes, swinging a foul back.
You got to believe every player in AAA's eyes are wide open when they look at expansion. You know, the goal is to be in the big leagues, and these guys don't really care where. It's going to be very interesting because Major League players can only protect 15 players. And everyone else is subject to the expansion draft. So if you're a team like Toronto, you really got some tough decision on your hands. Did you protect 15 big league players? You got to protect some prospects too.
Runner goes again, and another foul. So 15 of your 40-man roster.
15 of your 40-man, and once one of your players is selected, I believe you can take 2 or 3 players. You can add 2 or 3 players to that protected list.
Do you know how soon after the season?
I'm not positive.
That will take place?
I'm not positive, but I believe the expansion draft is scheduled sometime for November, shortly after the World Series.
And Domingo stays alive at the plate. That pitch may have been low, but you can't afford to take a chance like that, especially on a pitch you can get the bat on.
This is a nice at-bat for Domingo. He's getting some good swings, fouling off some pitches, and the more pitches a hitter see, it's easier for him to hit. So something could be brewing here.
Came with a fastball, and Domingo fouled it off again. That's about 6 foul balls in a row. Let's see if we can pick up the signals being flashed by Brad AUSMUS and see if perhaps they'll go to the curveball.
Looks like a fastball.
Yeah, he's setting up right down the middle. And he walked him. Springer looked like he would change his delivery a little bit. And Martinez walks.
The right fielder, Stu Pederson.
So that puts runners now at first and second. Stu Pederson coming up. Pederson on the year batting at .244 with 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. I guess for a long time it appeared as if Pederson's days as a Chief would be through after last season.
Actually, the Blue Jays organization said they would not re-sign Pederson to a AAA contract. They felt that they had enough minor league outfielders, a couple injuries during spring training, and Pederson was re-signed.
Now in his 5th year with Syracuse. There's Nick Leyva on the top rail. Runners lead off first and second with 2 outs. And the fastball tailing away catches the corner. Nick Leyva is probably the first Syracuse Chiefs manager with major league managerial experience. Bobby Cox, of course, went on to manage in the majors after handling the Chiefs for a number of years. Breaking pitch misses. It's 1-1. And it's different from the National League, where you've got to employ all sorts of managerial strategy, to the AAA level, where you don't pinch hit nearly as much and you have to deal with the DH. Springer trying to battle out of it here in the first. Missed again with a curveball.
Leyva seems to be enjoying his life in the minor leagues. He spent many seasons as a minor league coach and manager in the Cardinals farm system. And he said he really enjoys the instructing part of coaching. And you could see him out here early if you come out working with infielders, working with hitters, and he really seems to have taken on to the minor league approach.
Ripped to right. No, it's gloved by J.T. Snow in the race to the bag. He got him. J.T. Snow with a stab and then a dive to first base to beat Stu Peterson coming down the line, and that prevents a run from scoring. Peterson really got around it, and it looked like it might get through on the right side.
Looks like he hit it off the end of the bat.
Please report to the ticket office.
Nice play.
You don't see a play like that too often, and at the end of one, it is Syracuse 1 and Columbus nothing.
Just let those feelings flow to warm and friendly faces and places we all know, taking pride in all we are, right here in Syracuse with the heart of New York.
Looking for local coverage of the running sports? Less than excited by the network affiliates' lack of attention to track, road running, and cross country? Then get on the stick and drop into the world of Central New York running. From April through November, we bring you timely interviews, the ups and downs of competition, training and racing tips, and the most up-to-date race calendar anywhere. Join the crowd that loves Central New York running. Presented by Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods and Reebok, Tuesdays at 8:30 and Fridays at 7:30 on Syracuse's Cable 13.
Chiefs got a run on 2 hits. There was 1 error and 2 men left as we've completed 1 here at MacArthur Stadium, and Syracuse leads Columbus 1-0. Doug Linton getting set now for his second inning of work.
And turn back the clock for the Chiefs.
Linton comes into tonight's game with a record of 3-2 and an ERA of 4.14. Now, 4.14 is rather high for a pitcher, but the Chiefs as a team have an ERA of over 5.23. They have given up lots of hits and the most walks of any team in the league. So they have put a lot of opposing batters on base, and many have come around to score. It's going to be a busy week for us here on Cable 13, and we hope you'll be with us for the NCAA lacrosse quarterfinal round game featuring Syracuse and Yale. You'll see that one Sunday night on Cable 13. Right here, the Columbus Clippers come up in the top of the second inning, and here is Torey Lovello. He hit a pinch hit home run on Monday night to defeat the Syracuse Chiefs, and Linton starts him off with a drop curve that's inside. Ball 1. Lovello, a one-time phenom, according to Sparky Anderson with the Detroit Tigers.
One of many.
Ripped to center field. Ryan Thompson has it lined up, and he makes the catch. Well hit ball, but Thompson pulls it in.
First baseman, J.T. Snow.
Now J.T. Snow is coming up. He made that sparkling play defensively at first base to end the first inning with the stab in the hole and then the dive to beat Stu Peterson down the line. Linton jams him. Martinez ranging to his right. Linton covering, and he got it, and he held on. Martinez had a tough time getting the ball out of his glove, and Linton got to the bag quickly and gave him a good target.
This is a nice example of Martinez's fielding prowess. Very mobile around the bag, good hands. Little trouble coming out with it, but made a good strong throw to Linton.
Very good pitch by Doug Linton to jam J.T. Snow, and then a good job of covering the bag. He got there in plenty of time and gave Martinez a good target. Now here's Dave Sachs.
Linton's now retired the first 5 Clippers.
Sachs is the DH, hitting a .278.
You know, Linton's been a better pitcher at home this season. He started here twice. He's won both games with a 2.08 ERA. Coming into this game at home, he allowed only 3 earned runs in 13 innings.
Comes inside again. It's 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the top of the second. Syracuse 1, Columbus nothing. Foul ball that hit about a foot below Tom Leo and myself. Probably hit the B in cable, or maybe the 13.
I was diving out of the way.
It was a hard slider that missed outside. Last night, Tom, there was a ball that went right through this window, which was open, and hit the wall behind us and ricocheted right back out.
All right, luckily we were sitting a little further to the left in the press box.
This gentleman behind us used to play for the Syracuse Chiefs, Bobby Nandon. Maybe we'll get some pearls of wisdom from him in a little while. Well, it's a walk, and so the string of retirees ends. After 5 in a row, Dave Sachs is a 2-out walk, and Billy Massey, one of those former Olympians from 1988, is coming up. Massey, Silvestri, and Ed Sprague, 3 former Olympians from 1988. If I'm not mistaken, they all played here as part of a tour back that season, right through here.
They did play a game. Sprague DH'd on that team, I think.
Here's a high fly ball to fairly deep center field. The wind will hold it up for Ryan Thompson. He makes the catch, and Linton has gone through 2 innings, allowing only a walk. So there was a man left on base, and now in the middle of the 2nd inning, it's still Syracuse 1 and Columbus nothing.
1992 media guide and current edition of Baseline. Both available at the customer service.
A little bit of an uppercut on that swing.
Both publications contain player photos.
So far, Linton has been fortunate in that no balls have been hit to right field. The wind is blowing very strongly out to right, so if you can get a batter to hit it to left, left center, or center field, that ball will hold up as it just did.
For all your rental needs, stop by Thrifty.
What's that flag on the right?
North Syracuse.
I'm not sure. They used to have the IL pennant flag that they won here in '85, but it's been a while since the Chiefs last won the IL title, and can't really tell what that flag is.
John Simone tells us it's a POW flag, missing in action. Russ Springer getting set for his 2nd inning of work.
For the best pizza and wings, stop by and change days. The Sports Bar, located on 1802 Grand Boulevard.
There's Randy Holland, the Chiefs head trainer. Here in the 2nd inning, it will be Quinlan, Wade, and Shunk, the bottom 3rd of the Chiefs batting order. Tom, you were down in spring training for a couple of weeks. How does Nick Leyva as a manager differ from Bob Baylor, his predecessor?
Well, I think Nick's going to try more things. I think he'll pinch hit more often. I think he'll run more. Bob was a guy who really he was an organization guy, and we all know that the idea here in AAA is to develop players. So when the game was on the line late in the game, he chose not to pinch hit. He'd rather give a prospect a chance to maybe get a game-winning hit and build up his confidence. Leyva seems to think, you know, once you reach the 6th, 7th inning, the development part is over, and let's win a ball game.
There's a foul ball down the right field line, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Do you think those philosophical differences were as a result of Baylor having been a major league player with a fairly long career, and Leyva as a manager in the major leagues?
I think that probably has something to do with it. You know, once you manage in the major leagues, you know, you want to win. And he didn't have a great time in Philadelphia. He was fired last year after 13 games. I think he's down here to prove himself a little bit, too.
Is that one of the earliest? Is that the earliest managerial firing?
is one of the earliest. I seem to remember Yogi Berra being fired maybe after 8 games one year.
Breaking pitch, hit foul, past Rocket Wheeler at third.
Leva jokes about it. Coming home on a team bus from Pawtucket one night, the players had gotten involved in a Rossiter golf league. And Leva's a part of it and wanted to pay his entry fee to Sprague, and Sprague told him, no, wait till we get back to Syracuse. And Leva said, hey, I was only around 13 games last year. You better get the money now.
High with a breaking pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Quinlan's another guy who struggled early this season for the Chiefs. He's hitting only 162.
He's got good size, too. That pitch is high, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, so Springer goes full.
His numbers weren't bad last year. He ended up the year hitting 240, respectable amount of home runs and RBIs. He's always been prone to the strikeout, however. Free swinger, strikes out a lot.
Laid off that high fastball, and it's a leadoff walk for Tom Quinlan, and the number 8 hitter now, Scott Wade, is coming up. You look at the Chiefs lineup tonight. You got ZOSKY at 159, Quinlan at 162, and Wade at 143.
And several other guys right around the 200 mark, like Martinez and Shunk.
Got maybe 4 guys who are not hitting their weight. Wade with no homers and 3 runs batted in. Is Leva likely to put the bunt on?
I think it's a little early in the game for him to try it here.
Fouled straight back on the fastball. No balls and a strike.
Quinlan's not a good runner. He may try to hit and run here, but don't expect a straight steal.
Quinlan has no stolen bases.
Wade last year played in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, hit 5 home runs against Syracuse. I think he had 10 for the year.
There's a curveball that misses. Scott Wade has been around.
Used to be in the Boston organization. Signed as a free agent with the Phillies.
I believe he played 5 years with Pawtucket. He has hit 58 home runs in AAA ball. It's more than anybody else in this ballpark. 1-1 as the sun reappears. Quinlan has to dive back. Play was not nearly that close. J.T. Snow, son of the former Los Angeles Rams and Notre Dame wide receiver Jack Snow, and he is built like a football player. 1-1. Runner does not go, and the pitch is bounced to third. Played there, the second, and the relay, and an around the horn 5-4-3 double play. So that takes care of the number 7 and 8 batters, and now Jerry Shunk, the number 9 hitter, will be coming up.
Jerry Shunk.
LOVULLO to Desjardins, on to Snow. And there are 2 away.
Last night the Clippers had Hensley Mullins at third base, who made 4 errors. 2-on-1 play that cost the Clippers the game in the 10th inning. So a little change in personnel at the hot corner tonight.
Hensley has a very, very strong arm, but if you're seated in the seats behind first base, you ought to bring a helmet.
Yeah, that throw in the 10th inning sailed about 6 rows deep.
Right up the middle for a base hit. Jerry Shunk took that fastball right back up the middle, and the number 9 hitter Shunk reaches now with 2 outs. For the Chiefs, that is their 3rd hit of the game, and Ryan Thompson is coming up.
Center fielder, Ryan Thompson.
Thompson was a strikeout victim in the first inning as Springer opened up the game by getting Thompson swinging and ZOSKY looking. Oh, he's got him.
Got him. Yep.
Yes. You could see the runner Shunk leaning towards second base. And that little movement, perfect angle to see it. And Jerry Shunk is a pickoff victim of Russ Springer here to end the Chiefs' effort in the second inning. We've completed 2 at MacArthur Stadium. Syracuse 1, Columbus nothing.
The Smart Money is on Budget Rent-A-Car for quality sales and service. Budget offers inexpensive airport valet parking with conveniences such as maintenance and car washing. Budget has a free shuttle bus service to the airport, and Budget's friendly and courteous staff can have you on your way to your destination in no time. For the business traveler, Budget offers cellular phone service. And don't forget Budget's used car sales with some of the lowest prices in town. Budget Rent-A-Car, Taft Road in North Syracuse. For quality sales and service, the Smart Money is on Budget.
Fortunately, many Americans have found a way to respond to HIV.
You got a friend that's got AIDS.
What? They're shooting us? You think that's the only way
They're educating their employees.
The issue here is education. AIDS is growing fast.
Their communities,
small towns.
especially their friends and their families.
Last year I found out that I have HIV.
If we're going to prevent the spread of HIV, each and every one of us must do our part. Find out how you can help prevent HIV.
We're back with you in the top of the 3rd inning here at MacArthur Stadium. While we have the moment here, Bobby Nandon, former Syracuse Chief, has stopped by. Bob, Bob Nandon with us here, former Syracuse Chief. Bob, I seem to recall that you played for the Syracuse Chiefs. When was that? What decade was that?
Yeah. That was back in 1983. Actually, my first year was in '82, and my last year was.
All right, we'll try to get that straightened up as the Columbus Clippers are batting here now in the top of the 3rd inning. Here's Doug Linton, and his pitch is inside, ball 1. Bobby Desjardins hitting 8th in the lineup now for the Columbus Clippers. Linton is not allowed to hit in the first 2 innings. And that pitch is over, strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dan Hoare, the radio voice of the Syracuse Chiefs, with us here in the 3rd and 4th inning.
And happy to be here.
And the pitch is high and away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's fun to bounce over here and see Doug Linton pitch through the center field camera. Obviously, as a radio announcer, we see him from the other angle almost all of the time. Get a good look at his excellent breaking stuff, good curve and a good slider.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. That caught the outside corner, a backup slider that time. And the count is 2-2. And Desjardins looks a little befuddled at the plate, doesn't he?
And when you can do that to someone batting left-handed as a right-handed pitcher, then you know that the breaking stuff is nasty.
Desjardins with an open stance, looking at a 2-2 offering. Fastball hit to shortstop. ZOSKY retreats, bobbles, throws, got him! Eddie ZOSKY retreated and let that ball play him. And he completed the 360 move, which scores you points in the NBA, but not here.
Well, Eddie ZOSKY has one of the best throwing arms of any shortstop in baseball. Not just minor league ball, but major league ball, too. And he can make up for some bobbles with his cannon. It's a gun disguised in skin, and he made up for a bobble there by gunning down a pretty fast runner in Bobby Desjardins.
Now Brad AUSMUS against Linton, and he looks at a pitch that backs up on the inside corner, strike 1. Doug Linton has stayed ahead of the hitters.
That's something he had a problem with last year when he had a subpar season. He's come back well this year.
Big breaking pitch right there. A hard slider, somewhat between a slider and a curveball. Has the break of a curveball, but it breaks quicker. And he's ahead 0-2. That's a nasty pitch.
Especially to a right-handed hitter.
Fastball, and he tried to paint the black on the outside, and he just missed.
Doug Linton entered this game tied for 3rd in the league in strikeouts. I'd be willing to bet that he has more called 3rd strikes than anyone, well, maybe anyone in the league. He gets a lot of right-handed hitters looking with a breaking pitch.
Up the middle is ZOSKY. Same spot through his legs. He played that one almost the same way. He backed up and let that ball take an extra bounce as opposed to charging it. And that time the results were not as sweet.
He looked a little tentative, and it's hard to figure. That's not the kind of ball that you expect to take a nasty bounce. Got over a little bit late, didn't get in front of it, and the ball skipped under his mitt and went into shallow left center.
If we had the telestrator, we could show exactly where he hesitated on that one, and he froze for an instant and let that ball take the extra hop as he was veering towards center field. That's twice in a row in the exact same spot. And now here's Bernie Williams. That's an error on ZOSKY.
And it's his 15th of the season.
That's fouled to the plate by Bernie Williams. So there's been a walk and an error in the second and third innings. Those are the only base runners that Doug Linton has allowed.
This Columbus Ball Club is the #1 base stealing team in the league, and even though AUSMUS is a catcher at first, he had 31 stolen bases last season.
Catcher Sprague sets up outside. That's where the fastball goes, and it's a ball and a strike.
AUSMUS had to lead all catchers in professional ball last year in steals with 31. It's been a long time since there was a major league catcher who stole a lot of bases. I guess John Wathan, when he was with Kansas City, would probably be the most recent, although Craig Biggio, when he is a catcher, is a good base stealer for Houston.
If you just joined us, the Chiefs got a run in the bottom of the first. They lead it 1-0 as Columbus bats here in the top of the third. And this is Bernie Williams, who spent a good portion of last season with the New York Yankees and was there for about 5 games this year before being sent down. He got rave reviews for his defense last year with the Yankees. That ball popped out of Doug Linton's hands as he tried to get something on that curve. Now the count is 2-1. Now if you're Bernie Williams, do you guess fastball? Do you guess curve, slider? When you face Linton, you've got to do a lot of guessing.
If Bernie has faced Doug in the past, and he has a few times, I would guess breaking pitch. When Doug Linton's behind in the count, he will throw the breaking stuff. That is not what most pitchers do, but that is generally his pattern.
Little slide step. Williams got caught between, thinking whether that was a curve or a fastball, but the indecisiveness did not hurt him because the pitch was up high, and it's 3-1.
I think it's probably safe to assume that AUSMUS will run on the upcoming pitch. 3-1 with a pretty good contact hitter at the plate. And he doesn't.
Slide step delivery and a swinging strike 2. Very good location on that fastball. Low and away.
And that is the last prediction I will make tonight.
Sun has reappeared and shining brightly now in the twilight. As a matter of fact, at second base, Jerry Schunk has his hand out to try to shade the sun. Obviously, he went out without sunglasses. There's the payoff pitch, fouled off to the left side. Pursuit by Quinlan, and he can't get there in time. Eddie ZOSKY had to go a long way, and there'll be another life for Bernie Williams.
When you see the Clippers in these road gray uniforms, obviously very reminiscent of the Yankees uniforms, and a moment ago we saw Bernie Williams with a number 44 on his back, you can't help but think of Reggie.
Bernie Williams, by the way, is the only Yankee non-pitcher in history to strike out 5 times in one game.
And I'm sure he's happy you mentioned that.
Reggie Jackson also turned the feet, but he did it, I believe, as an Oakland A. There's a Yankee pitcher named Johnny Broaca back in the 40s who struck out 5 times in a game. Bernie did it. Lays off the high breaking pitch, and he draws a 1-out walk and now puts the tying run down at second base. So Linton is still not allowed a hit, and Mike Humphreys is coming up for his second at bat. Humphreys lined out hard to center field back in the first inning. That's a strike.
Paul Bortolotti calling the balls and strike tonight, one of the International League's more vocal umpires. The crowd microphone does not have to be cranked up in order to hear him belt out strike.
Wind continues to blow from left to right. Linton checks the runner at second, and the pitch is fouled straight back. So now Doug Linton jumps out to an 0-2 advantage on the batter Mike Humphreys. Came with a slider for strike one, a fastball for strike two. That's Bernie Williams, who runs well at first. Brad AUSMUS, the catcher who runs well, is down at second. The 0-2 pitch. That was the curveball, so he gave him all three. Slider, fastball, curveball, and now the count is 1-2. On deck is Dave Silvestri. Looks like a breaking pitch away. That's the pitch, and he held up. And the appeal is successful.
Good pitch by Linton. He put it where he wanted to. And even though it wasn't called a strike, and even though he didn't get Humphreys on the check swing, that's a case where you tip your hat to the batter and say, congratulations for laying off, because it looked good until it broke outside.
Now he looks like he wants to come inside. Popped up and playable, Martinez. Now Martinez gets his back turned, and he can't make the play. And that ball falls in for a base hit, and the bases are loaded.
There's a stiff breeze blowing toward right that carried that ball away from Domingo Martinez, but he made kind of a strange effort in pursuing it. Blowing toward right that carried that ball away from Domingo Martinez hard and getting his body behind the ball. It's easy to say from here, but notice how he kind of slowed down, and at this point it's going to be a tough play.
You could smell trouble once he got out of his gate, and it becomes the first base hit, and the bases are loaded now, and there is still one man out. So the wind becomes a factor for the first time in the game. Doug Linton has had excellent stuff to this point. He has not struck out a batter. Now the base is loaded for Dave Silvestri, who's driven in 12 this season. There's a hard slider that's low and away, ball one.
Chiefs could get out of the inning with a double play, but Humphreys, the runner at first, had an enormous lead. Martinez, the first baseman, was playing behind him there, and Humphreys was getting so far off first, I don't know if they could get him at second unless the ground ball was hit very sharply.
Fastball is fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Linton retired Bobby Desjardins on a ground ball to short. That was an adventure for Eddie ZOSKY. Then the error by ZOSKY, the walk to Williams, and the high pop that fell in for a base hit. Linton should have been out of this inning a while ago. He works from the windup with the bases loaded and 1 out. Now it's 2 balls and a strike. Linton is ready, but the batter has stepped out. The 2-1 pitch, right in on the curveball, strike 2. Doug steps off the mound to go to his mouth. Silvestri checks his lumbar. Now with a 2-2 count, pitcher and batter are both set. Bases loaded. Chiefs lead it 1-0. Couldn't get around on the fastball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Waiting on deck is Torey Lovello.
Silvestri was up with New York for a while. Torey Lovello spent quite a bit of last year up with New York. Silvestri was 2 for 7 in a brief stint with the Yankees.
Asmus is at third, Ausmus at third, Williams at second, and Humphreys at first. Swing and a miss. As he got him on that breaking pitch on the outside corner. First strikeout of the game, and now with 2 outs, Lovello is coming up.
Third baseman, Torey Lovello.
Silvestri fooled by the breaking pitch, and perfect time for Linton to get his first strikeout. If he gets out of this inning without giving up a run, he will have needed to get 5 outs, basically. ZOSKY made an error at shortstop. Martinez failed to catch a pop-up behind first. Linton trying to get his 5th out of the inning.
Just missed low, ball 1. Ed Sprague is the Chief catcher.
Torey Lovello, a very tough hitter. He was the hero in the opening game of this series with a 3-run pinch hit home run that has just about landed over the right field fence.
Comes back with a breaking pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Look at that little donut that Lovello has on the bat between the natural wood handle and his bottom hand. High with the curveball that time.
It's like a second handle.
Probably a little softer than the natural wooden handle. Allows him to choke up a little without feeling like he's choking up.
Now, why wouldn't you just get a shorter bat?
Want to reach that outside pitch. And now Linton is behind 3-1 with no place to put Torey Lovello. Now you've got 2 concerns when you're a pitcher. You don't want to walk the batter, but you also don't want to give him something that's too good to hit. So you've really got to make a pitch here. And Ed Sprague, in flashing out the signs, Dan, has to be concerned with the runner at second base. He's giving a complete set of signs, one of which will be the actual one, and changing the location as well. Watch Sprague. Motion to both thighs, but he moves outside, and the pitch is high and away, and he walks in a run. So give Lovello an RBI as the Columbus Clippers have tied the game. We talked about how difficult a task it would be for Linton to get out of the inning, needing 5 outs in effect, and finally the Clippers push across a run.
And Doug Linton isn't out of the woods yet with one of the league's leading hitters, J.T. Snow, at the plate.
Came in hitting at .330. He looks at a fastball on the outside corner. Breaking pitch. That was the curveball. 1 ball and 1 strike. About 3 times this inning, Linton has had that curveball kind of pop out. He's had really good control of the slider. Tried to get it to come back, and he was successful. Although J.T. Snow did not agree with that. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The backdoor slider that time.
And Snow, stepping out of the batter's box, had his head turned toward home plate umpire Bortolotti to let him know how he felt about the pitch.
Yes, sir. Same pitch again. J.T. Snow did not agree with any of those called strikes, but he is a strikeout victim of Doug Linton. And J.T. looking back and continuing his conversation with the home plate umpire. And there it is, the called strike 3. So Doug Litton does a good job to get out of the inning, allowing only 1 run. And at the end of 2.5, we're tied at 1.
This is Syracuse University athlete George Rooks.
And they run the draw play, and George Rooks again combining with Wentworth, and they swallow up Eric Rex.
This is George Rooks, the student.
Student athlete means exactly what it says. You're students first, you're athletes second. Students last a lot longer than athletes do. The average career for professional football players, 3.5 years. Average career for a student who graduates degree is, because you can't put a number on it.
Today, there's a good chance you know someone with HIV. People with HIV can look just as healthy as anyone else. You can't tell if someone is infected with the virus just by looking at them. In fact, the person you're with right now might have HIV. Talk to your partner about HIV.
Learn how to prevent HIV infection. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Doug Litton with a tough situation last inning when he had to, in effect, get 5 outs. And J.T. Snow was a strikeout victim in that last inning, and then he had a little bit of a tiff with the home plate umpire, who's now explaining it to Rick Down.
That's right. After Snow struck out looking, he fired his batting helmet straight down. It caromed off home plate and bounced away a little bit, and you could hear home plate umpire Paul Bortolotti say, "That's a helmet fine." When you throw down your helmet, you're not necessarily kicked out of the game unless it were to bounce into the umpire, but you do get fined for it. He yelled out, "That's a helmet fine," and Rick Down went out to probably say, well, he wasn't throwing it down. He was just sending it back toward the dugout. Doesn't matter. He'll have to pay.
Bobby Nanda, did you ever incur a helmet fine?
No, Dave. I never really threw my helmet. I try to keep my composure when I was playing.
Never.
Well, here we are in the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan
Well, maybe
Thompson,
once or twice.
Ryan Thompson goes after a high fastball. I recall, were you a player coach for the Chiefs when you were here?
I was a player coach towards the end of my career back in '84, and that was the end of that. Then I was made a regular coach, coached Medicine Hat Canada with Rocket Wheeler, where we set an all-time record for most losses by a manager and coach. We're in the record books for that, by the way.
And how many losses were there?
72 losses.
And in how long a season?
In 80 ball games.
72 losses?
72 losses.
8 wins and 72 losses?
Yep. We broke John McLaren's old record. I think he had 10 wins that one year. And
you must not have had much talent, right?
Exactly. We had a lot of young ball players, and we worked them double time, morning and afternoon. I've never worked as hard as a player as I did with these young kids. Rocket Wheeler is a workhorse, and he worked the kids day, morning, and night.
Ryan Thompson goes fishing for the 2nd time in a game on a high fastball, and he's again a strikeout victim. Now, Bob, over the years in these games we've had on Cable 13, we've seen some tremendous home runs. Willie Aikens, the last man to clear the Blue Monster in a televised game. Dan Pasqua hit one about 500 feet to right field. And you hit one home run in a televised game. What year was that?
That was back in 1983, Dave. As a matter of fact, I have that tape with me.
You do have it with you?
I have it with me.
And you're selling it to fans here for 1995.
People cannot believe that I hit it. People are still scratching their heads.
Do you remember the call on that home run? Who was the announcer that game?
Well, you were, Dave. You were the announcer, and if we could, I'd like to play it back, because there's a lot of fans out there who do not believe it.
Here's a bouncing ball to short, played by Silvestri behind the bag, and he guns down Eddie Zosky. That's got to be a bitter pill for Eddie Zosky to swallow, because that's precisely where he misplayed 2 balls and ended up with 1 error. The 2 away, and Mike MAKSUDIAN is coming up. Remember what I told you on that home run? Of course, you couldn't hear me as you were rounding the bases, but...
I did see the tape several times, and I did hear you say, "Slow down, Bob, that's a home run." I was stretching that home run into a triple.
You didn't hear me say there won't be many more, did you?
No, I didn't hear you say that.
MAKSUDIAN drives it Torch Snow makes the play, and the pitcher covers in time. What a great play by J.T. Snow, and Springer's going to congratulate him.
That's a big league play right there.
That ball was ripped, and they knew MAKSUDIAN does not get down the line well, but J.T. Snow with a spectacular dive. That was a legitimate dive for the ball. A lot of times a player is falling, is actually on the ground, and it looks like a dive, but that one was the real thing.
These are some Indian friends of mine in the Amazon. Their lives today are in great danger. Their beautiful home in the rainforest is being destroyed by logging, mining, and ranching at a rate of 60 football fields a minute. This is the rainforest in 1900. And this is the rainforest today. And this is the rainforest in 30 years if present trends continue. It's all gone. The lungs of the earth destroyed. The forest burns, the planet heats up. The greenhouse effect. Floods, droughts, famines. I'm worried about the world we're leaving our children. If you want to protect the rainforest for the Indians, the wild animals, for yourself and your children, you can help create vast Amazon national parks like in the U.S. by making a donation to the Rainforest Foundation. A few dollars or as much as you can before it's too late. Thank you.
And as we go to the fourth inning here at MacArthur Stadium to handle the play-by-play, here's Dan Hort.
All right, thank you, Dave, and hi again, everybody. It's odd that we would come into this inning after seeing that announcement for the Rainforest Foundation. At points in April, MacArthur Stadium seemed like a rainforest. It rained so much. 5 of Syracuse's first 8 home games had problems with rain, but Nick Leyva's ball club is trying to overcome that and get it going in the month of May. The Chiefs have won 3 out of the last 4, trying to make it 4 out of 5 tonight. And we're tied at 1, heading to the 4th. Dave Sachs, Billy Massey, and Bobby Desjardins will hit for the Columbus Clippers. There is Dave Sachs, and yes, he is the brother of Steve Sachs. He's the older brother of Steve Sachs. And if he had a dime for every time an announcer said that in his baseball career, he'd be as wealthy as Steve Sachs. They have played together before. They were both in the Dodgers organization, Dave and Steve, years ago. And obviously, Steve was recently in the Yankees organization. And Dave's been with Columbus for a few seasons. Steve now with the White Sox. Linton starts Sachs off with a breaking pitch, and it's outside for ball 1.
Now that he is with the White Sox, does Chris Berman refer to him as Steve Sox?
I do not know that. Counts a ball and no strikes. And the pitch from Doug Linton. Called a strike loudly by Paul Bortolotti, and the count's 1-1. Linton, the former Cal Irvine anteater, definitely ranked among the better team nicknames in college sports. Sachs tries to check his swing, and, well, they said he did. Doug Linton can't believe it. And if Dave Sachs can't believe it, he's not going to let anyone know with his facial expression. It counts 2-1.
You know, Dan, about college nicknames, your broadcast partner on radio who will join us a little bit later on, Joel Marinas, and I, well, back in television in the 70s when we worked together at Channel 3, we used to be amazed at some names of schools that used to come across the wire night after night, schools that we just had never heard of.
Linton throws a called strike to Sachs, and the count's 2-2.
I think my all-time favorite matchup was when Azusa Pacific and Pomona Pitzer came across. That was our score of the night. We used to run those scores just for the heck of it.
And those aren't even the nicknames. Those are the school names.
Right.
Well, we have someone from Azusa Pacific on the Syracuse Ball Club, Wayne Edwards.
You're kidding.
2-2 pitch. Outside for ball 3.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Azusa.
You could ask him what the nickname of the team is.
Now, I know he pitched some college ball there. I don't know if that was the school. It might have been Azusa Junior College or something. It's worth a look in the media guide. Here comes the payoff pitch from Doug Linton. A looper into shallow center, and Ryan Thompson makes the catch. Well, I know there's a school somewhere in California. I don't know what city it is, but it's my all-time college team name, the Banana Slugs. It's Cal something, and they're the Banana Slugs.
Banana Slugs.
The right fielder. Billy Massey coming up. He flied to center his first time up. Doug Linton has only given up 1 run, and it was unearned. Doug taking some deep breaths before he throws his first delivery to Billy Massey, the former U.S. Olympian. Linton's pitch is low. Counts the ball and no strikes.
Wayne Edwards is the relief pitcher. Had a very good outing last night, but his father was a member of what, the rock band, the
Hondells. That's right. And Wayne himself is a member of the rock band VIEW. He is the drummer, and Chicago White Sox ace Jack McDowell is the lead singer. 1-0 pitch is high, and it counts 2 balls and no strikes.
Jack's drumming out a pretty good beat for himself these days as a pitcher.
And we should have a drum beat after that.
Didn't Steve Sachs play drums for the Beach Boys at a concert after a game at Yankee Stadium?
Now that I don't know either.
A couple of years ago.
Pitch is a called strike to Massey, and the count is 2-1. That band VIEW, by the way, that Wayne Edwards plays in, or for, played in Syracuse this past summer, but he was ill and missed the gig in band lingo. Linton pitches, and it's way outside to Massey to count 3 balls and a strike.
I believe they played at the Lost Horizon.
Did you make that gig?
No, I didn't make that gig.
But you're up on the...
I haven't been there since mud wrestling. Or was it Jello wrestling?
He's admitting everything tonight. Massey swings at a 3-1 fastball and hits a towering pop-up into shallow right. Jerry Shunk windmills the arms and makes the catch, and blows a bubble immediately after making the catch. 2 men out here in the 4th. Doug Linton's only given up 1 hit, and that was a gift. Pop-up behind first base that Domingo Martinez could not catch because of the breeze blowing toward right. Good look at Bobby Desjardins as he steps into the left-handed hitter's box. Switch hitter, batting lefty. He grounded out to short his first time up. First ball swinging, hits one in the air to center. Ryan Thompson is there to end the inning. So a tidy 4th for Doug Linton. He gets the Clippers 1-2-3. And the score is still tied in the middle of the 4th inning. It is Syracuse 1 and Columbus 1 here at MacArthur Stadium. Doug Linton getting it done through 4.
12 and under, the Chiefs would like to invite you to become a member of
The Syracuse Chiefs play here all season long on Cable 13. This is Dave Cohen inviting you to join us for exclusive coverage of Syracuse Chiefs baseball in May, June, July, and August. Follow the Major League stars of tomorrow today on Cable 13. And stay with the Chiefs as they strive for the International League pennant while contributing to the Blue Jays' effort to win the American League pennant. It's Syracuse Chiefs baseball only on Cable 13.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats. 'Cause they play real pretty in the old Salt City. We're gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and...
Cheer for the Chiefs.
And back here at MacArthur Stadium, a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 4th inning. We want to thank Bob Nandon, now known these days as Cable Bob, an employee of Adelphia Cable Communications. And if you happen to be watching this somewhere besides your home and you're interested in getting this kind of sports coverage, well, give Cable Bob a call if you live in the city.
And now that we're done with that shameless plug, we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And the Chiefs will have Ed Sprague, Domingo Martinez, and Stu Peterson coming up.
They get Channel 5 on cable, too.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
That's our new name, Adelphia Communications. This is Cable 13 as always. And everybody plays here. Syracuse lacrosse coming up this weekend against Yale. We'll have that one for you on Sunday night. And it won't be too long before football is in action. Dan, you have that great task there on the sidelines. You get to meet all those interesting folks.
That's right.
Attack the horse. Get the euchre seats in the Superdome.
I had a ball last year, and we're looking forward to 92. Ed Sprague, first ball swinging, lifts a high pop-up into left. And Mike Humphreys walks in and makes the catch. 4 in a row retired by Springer, and Domingo Martinez is coming up. at Sprague. 1 for 2. He had an RBI single his first time up. There's a good look at Russ Springer, just in his 3rd year of pro ball. 23-year-old right-handed pitcher out of LSU, where he pitched with Big Ben McDonald, who's off to a terrific start this year with the Baltimore Orioles.
By the way, that was the first ball hit out of the infield for an out.
Martinez takes one outside for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Domingo Martinez, the league's all-star first baseman last season. It's off to a slow start this season. Takes outside ball 2. Domingo missed 11 games with a strained quadricep last month. And to give you an indication of how valuable he is to this team, in those 11 games, Syracuse won 2, lost 9. Now he takes high, and the count's 3 balls and no strikes.
He led the Chiefs last year with 17 home runs, but this year only 3 in the first 25 games.
Well, that's 3 more than he had in the first 25 games last year. He did not hit a home run until June last year and finished with 17. He swings at the 3-0 pitch. Nick Leva gave him the green light, and he fouled it off. It's 3-1.
I guess you'd have to call him a warm weather hitter.
That is a look at the relatively slim and trim Domingo Martinez. When he first showed up in the Chiefs training camp last season, tipped the scales at about 235 pounds. Now he's around 210, and the proof is in the pudding. He is an outstanding first baseman. I guess the proof is in laying off the pudding. 3-1 pitches outside, and Martinez draws a 1-out walk here in the 4th inning.
I thought you were going to use the expression tip the Toledos.
That's kind of a pro wrestling, boxing kind of expression.
The right fielder, Stu Peterson.
That's not booing, that's stewing for fan favorite Stu Peterson. Now in his 5th year with the ball club, he grounded out his first time up. Stu hit a home run off this pitcher, Russ Springer, 5 nights ago in Columbus. And Stu takes a hard fastball outside for ball 1.
Well, if he can get the ball in the air to right field, he'll get the boost from the wind, which is really blowing out that way.
Also, with Martinez being held at first, there's a big hole on the right side of the infield to shoot for if he hits one on the ground. Springer's pitch taken outside by Stu. The count 2 balls and no strikes.
Maybe fans don't realize it, but a first baseman, when holding a runner on, can set up in foul territory, but when the pitch is delivered, he has to be in fair territory. You see J.T. Snow will move into the playing field. There he goes.
Peterson swings and pops one up behind shortstop Dave Silvestri, and he backs into the outfield to make the catch. 2 men gone in the bottom of the 4th. This game tied at 1. Syracuse scored in the 1st on an Ed Sprague single, and Columbus tied it in the 3rd on a bases-loaded walk to Torey Lovullo. Some clouds beyond the center, beyond the backstop, rather, at MacArthur Stadium. That's generally where weather patterns come from. You can look out behind the stadium on almost every night, or any night, and see the clouds roll in if it's going to be a stormy night. Hopefully that is not the case tonight.
What do you suppose the odds would have been last season if you had placed a bet out in Nevada that the Chiefs would go through the entire home season without a rainout? What kind of odds do you think you would have gotten?
Pretty good ones, I would imagine. That bet was made between ESPN's Mike Tirico and the Chiefs' assistant general manager, John Simone. John saying there would be no rainouts, and it cost Mike a dinner in Syracuse. I don't know if he ever paid up before heading off to ESPN. A swing and a foul off the stick of Tom Quinlan. The count's no balls and 2 strikes.
Was this bet made before the season or
the bet was
progress?
made about 2 weeks into the season. And everyone assumed that John Simone would lose. If he lost,
what would
Mike
he
was going to
off?
get a hot dog and a beer at the ballpark. If Mike lost, which he eventually did since there were no home rainouts, it's going to be a full-course, expensive, fancy-schmancy dinner somewhere in town. And now there are 3 mouths to feed in the John Simone family.
Alexander, right?
Born early this season. Martinez with a lead at first. Not likely to steal. The 0-2 pitch fouled back by Quinlan. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
Got some new baseball fans among some of our production crew as well. Andy Robinson checks in with Rachel Fay and Kevin Critch. I think that's number 3 for Kevin, number 1 for Andy. Kaylee Critch.
I like it. Pickoff throw to first, and Martinez gets back in time. That's Ray Gianelli coaching at first for Syracuse. And that's Tom Quinlan hanging in there at 0-2.
Ray, by the way, could see some action pinch running perhaps tonight.
Springer pitches. Quinlan hits a grounder toward the hole. It's backhanded deep in the hole, and the shortstop Silvestri decides to hold on to the ball. Rather than risking a wild throw, unlikely to get Quinlan anyway, or Martinez at second base, he just held it wisely, and it'll be a base hit for Tom Quinlan, putting Domingo Martinez in scoring position.
You know, he really didn't get the fat part of the bat on the ball, but the placement was such that the only play that the shortstop had was the force at second, but it just took too many bounces, and it becomes an infield hit for Quinlan. He'll take him any way he can.
So Quinlan is on at first, and Scott Wade is the hitter. Scott trying to break out of a long drought. Good time to do it with 2 men on base. Springer's pitch. Breaking ball that's taken low. It's a ball and no strikes. Wade is 0 for his last 13. Scott, a former high draft pick by the Boston Red Sox. Kind of a typical player that Boston has gone for in the draft over the years. A right-handed home run pull hitter. Someone who can clear the Green Monster at Fenway. The 1-0 to Wade. Outside fastball, ball 2. Martinez, the runner at second. Domingo, an average runner. Tom Quinlan is behind him at first.
Speaking of Pawtucket, when they come in at the end of the month, Mo Vaughn very likely to be with them.
Yeah, he was sent down by Boston with a 185 average. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and belted deep to left by Wade. If it's fair, it is gone. It is foul. He got all of it. But he got all of it a little early. And the count is 2-1.
Well, you got a good indication there of a man who has hit 58 AAA home runs. That ball may have cleared the wall by about 100 feet.
Scott Wade once hit 3 home runs in 1 game against Syracuse when he was playing for the Pawtucket Red Sox. He has hit 3 home runs in 1 game twice in his career. Hasn't connected yet for the Chiefs. He hit it far enough, but not straight enough there. Springer throws the 2-1. Well, he won't throw the 2-1. Timeout called at the last instant by batter Scott Wade and home plate umpire Paul Bortolotti.
You know, Dan, he hit that ball so hard, even this wind, which is blowing from left to right, could not alter the path and keep it fair.
Scott Wade has a very strong upper body, which you can see there. He reminds me a little bit physically of Ron Cey, the Penguin. 2-1 pitch. And the check swing was successful for Wade. He did not go around on the high heater, and the count's 3-1.
Yeah, I do see the resemblance. Looks to be a little taller than Cey.
And he has a longer stride than that legendary Penguin sprint of Ron Cey.
Well, the legs are longer.
3-1 the count. Should see a good pitch to hit. Springer delivers, and Wade takes it high and tight, ball 4. That's the 4th walk given up in 4 innings by Springer. There's a Chief on every base with Jerry Shunk coming up and pitching coach Mike Brown heading to the mound.
There is no warm-up action. Springer has not been hit particularly hard, but in this inning we did have the first fly ball out to center field and then the long foul ball off the bat of Scott Wade.
And although Springer has only given up 1 run, pitched a taxing 4 innings. In the first inning alone, he threw 36 pitches. Pitcher likes to throw somewhere between 10 and 15 pitches in an inning to be efficient. And again, he pitched 36 deliveries in the first inning alone. So he has thrown quite a few pitches through 4 innings.
You had a look at the bullpen where one of the pitchers was stretching with the aid of some surgical tubing, which provides some very good resistance, allows you to limber up.
Well, here is the always dirty Jerry Shunk. After one man is batted, his uniform is caked with dirt. No exception tonight as he hits here in the 4th. He had a single his first time up. Takes one with the bases loaded, and it's a ball.
Do they still call him the Rat?
They call him the Rat, and when he was with Toronto in spring training last year, a newspaper there coined it perfectly. They said, Jerry Shunk looks like an unmade bed.
Going with the high-top shoes as well. That adds to the image.
The 1-0 with the bases loaded. Breaking pitch that's outside, and Springer's in trouble. He's behind Shunk, 2-0.
You know why he's in trouble here, especially now. You've got to figure he's going to come with a fastball. And last time up, Shunk took the fastball and drove it right back through the middle.
One thing about Shunk, he almost always makes contact. He's only struck out once and 71 times up this season, so he figures to put it in play with the bases loaded. He swings, he hits it toward the second baseman. A nice catch by Desjardins, jumping up to grab it in the breadbasket, and he makes the play at first to end the inning.
Just as we speculated,
but failed to score. Yep.
He did get the fastball, and he got jammed a little bit.
So our score at the end of 4 at MacArthur Stadium: Syracuse 1 and Columbus 1.
Okay, folks, listen, I need your attention. We have a lot of stuff to cover today, and I'd like to get started as soon as possible.
Years ago, the United Nations wrote and adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article number 20 says, everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. There are 29 other rights guaranteed in this document. You should know them. To get your copy, write Amnesty International, P.O. Box 37137, Washington, D.C. 20013. If you don't know your rights, how can you defend them?
1-1, Syracuse and Columbus. As we go to the 5th inning, and Joel Marinas joins us now here on Cable 13.
Hi, Dave. A couple of unearned runs. Each team has left the bases loaded.
And Doug Linton has pitched very, very well for the Syracuse Chiefs.
He's able to throw that off-speed breaking pitch for strikes. When he does that, he's a much different and improved pitcher.
Well, he's got the slider, the hard slider, and then he's got the big drop curveball and moving his fastball around. So he has become a very difficult pitcher for these Columbus Clippers tonight. Brad AUSMUS reached on an error by Eddie ZOSKY back in the 3rd inning. ZOSKY's 15th error this year. And the fastball is low. Syracuse got a run in the bottom of the 1st. And then Columbus tied the game in the 3rd inning. In the 4th, Linton retired the Clippers 1-2-3. That's a foul ball off to the right side, and the wind will make sure it drifts out of play.
Doug Linton's using the old philosophy and formula for excellent pitching. Anytime you can use these 3 factors, you're going to have a quality outing. Throw strikes, change velocities, work fast.
If anything, on a number of occasions, Linton has been on the rubber and the hitters have stepped out.
Trying to stop his timing, break it up.
Jammed him with a fastball, and that one's out of play. So as he has been most of the night, he is ahead of the hitter here, the number 9 hitter, Brad AUSMUS. On deck is Bernie Williams. Ed Sprague behind the plate. Martinez at first. Shunk at second. ZOSKY at short, and Quinlan at 3rd. That time he came with a hard slider, and Sprague blocked it. So the count is even at 2-2.
He just went around the Syracuse inner cordon of defense, as they say. And those three of the 4, Quinlan at 3rd, ZOSKY at short, and Martinez at 1st, were the leading fielders at their particular position in the International League last year, percentage-wise. ZOSKY, I don't know. Sometimes you come up with some spectacular plays and then blow the easy one.
Count of 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brad Ausmus leading off here in the 5th. Linton overthrew that one a little bit, and he goes full now.
Ausmus is the number 9 hitter in the order, but Chiefs pitchers are having trouble with him.
And he misses low again, so 3 times Linton fired that fastball low, and it's a leadoff walk, and that's always an ominous sign.
The center fielder
For a pitcher
Williams.
and for a manager. That's the 5th walk allowed by Linton, and now Bernie Williams comes up, grounded out to first, and he walked. Williams stands deep in the batter's box, feet spread way apart at the plate. Runner goes, hit and run, and it's fouled off. Ausmus runs very, very well for a catcher. Caught once this year, successful 4 times.
That expression, everyone uses it, runs well for a catcher, because catchers actually down in the heart so much develop these thick muscular thighs. Very tough to run with muscular thighs. He hasn't developed it yet. I guess as you become an older catcher, you can't run as fast. Become older, anything you can't run as fast.
Curveball hit on the ground to short. ZOSKY steps on the bag and fires, and he gets the double play. A little bit of confusion at second base as to whether ZOSKY would flip it to Shunk or step on it himself. And you look at it again, Joel.
But watch Eddie. He fields it back of second base and a momentary indecision. Then he decides to go there himself. And only a player with his arm can get that. Because only Eddie ZOSKY with the cannon was able to overcome the moment of indecision. He almost ran into Jerry Shunk. And what an arm he has when it's on target.
However, as you saw in that play, and you saw earlier on the 2 plays involving ZOSKY, one that he bobbled, the other that he erred on, he has a tendency to turn that left shoulder towards center field, allow that ball to take another bounce, or at least to get him turned around a little bit. A lot of shortstops will keep that shoulder in and cut toward the base as opposed to turning to center field. Mike Humphreys, the hitter now. He flied to center, hit the ball hard, then he singled his second time up. 2 away in the top of the 5th. Linton misses low again. If you're going to miss on the fastball, that's the place to miss.
They don't want to get up there where they can extend the arms out and lose it. Mike Humphreys had a tremendous, prodigious home run a couple nights ago here at MacArthur Stadium.
See that ball tail in on the right-handed batter. That was a good fastball that Linton had moving inside to the right-hander. 2 balls and a strike.
Kneecap high.
Ripped into left field for a base hit. Played by Scott Wade, and it's a 2-out single for Mike Humphrey. That is only the 2nd hit for the Columbus Clippers, and Humphreys has both of them.
Dave Silvestri.
That's the first legitimate hit, because the other was a pop-up down the right field line that gave Martinez all sorts of problems, and it fell in. Now Dave Silvestri, who's lined to Shunk, who made a diving catch in the 1st inning and then struck out. There have been some great defensive plays in this game. Shunk made that high catch, a leaping catch. J.T. Snow with a dive in the hole. We had a pickoff of a runner at first base and a classic move by a pitcher. Just getting back.
Doug Linton reputedly has the best pickoff move any right-hander in the league. He's already picked off 7 this season, led the league last year. He kind of leans a little toward the plate It's close to Balkish, but doesn't get the call. Kind of leans toward the plate, gets the runner leaning the wrong way, then whirls and snaps the throw over.
Springer picked off Jerry Shunk earlier. There it is. Got him.
All right.
That's number 8 picked off on the season by Doug Linton. And twice tonight we've had excellent views of the pickoff moves of the right-handers. And so Columbus got a hit, a double play and a pickoff, and that's it for them in the 5th.
Hey, nice strike, dummy.
Take a hike, Thurston. He's no crash dummy, not a scratch on him.
Thurston's my hero.
Why is that, my little battered buddy?
Because he gets to wear the safety belt.
No wonder he's still got his original paint job.
You can't hate a dummy for being smart.
I guess so.
Here he comes.
Hey, keep up the good work, guys.
Buckle it up, Thurston.
I always do.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
If I told you I could save my life just by putting on my socks, you wouldn't take me seriously, because life is never that simple. But watch. Okay, you're right. That wouldn't really save my life. But there's something just as simple that could.
Here's one of those guys who has his lights on, his car locked. Maybe the engine is running. You always hear those announcements at sporting events.
You have to have one of those cars that go ding-dong, ding-dong, ding-dong. But my ding-dong, the battery is dying on that ding-dong. I let the light on the other day. Beautiful clear skies now. Bodes well for the next couple of days. The Mud Hens will be in town next 2 days. Then on Saturday afternoon, the Rochester Red Wings.
Here's Ryan Thompson, who's been up twice and struck out twice. Each time he has gone after a high fastballs from Russ Springer. Springer has 3 strikeouts in the game. Chiefs batting in the bottom of the 5th in a 1-1 tie. Started him out again with a high fastball, but missed outside.
Ryan's grandfather played in the old Negro Leagues, name of Mithy Rochester.
There's a strike. Ryan did a good job of delivering the starting lineups for us tonight. Very personable young man.
He was in the Herald Journal today modeling an old uniform, too.
And they try to get him to go fishing again, but this time he lays off, so the count is 2-1. Now let's see if they change the pitching pattern. They've come with that high fastball 3 times. So they come down low.
Mentioned his grandfather, and he attributes a lot of his incentive to words of advice from his grandfather, who said, Ryan, look to the stars. And he's looking to become a Blue Jay star someday.
And he draws a walk, so that's a pretty good job of batting there by Ryan Thompson after being struck out twice. Much more discipline this time, and it becomes a leadoff walk.
Violation of that cardinal rule in baseball. It's also a Columbus Clipper rule, I'm sure. Don't walk the leadoff batter.
You know, unless you've pitched at some time, I don't think people can really appreciate what a walk does, particularly a leadoff walk does, in terms of unnerving a pitcher. If you surrender a single, the batter hit the ball. That's his job. Thought about bunting, but when you walk somebody, it means that at least 4 times you missed or may have been squeezed by the umpire on 1 or 2 occasions, but it means 4 times you missed the strike zone.
You lose your focus, too, because you become, concerned with self-recrimination. I shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't have called that, and you lose your concentration on the very next batter, too.
1-0 count. The ZOSKY runner goes. The throw down is in time. And so Ryan Thompson gets gunned down trying to steal second base.
Brad AUSMUS is highly regarded by the Yankee organization for his defensive prowess. There he is, number 11, Brad AUSMUS, a part-time Dartmouth College student. Tremendous arm accuracy, And I know he's gunned down a high percentage of those attempting to steal.
In fact, we were talking before the game, if you took the runners that he's thrown out stealing and factored in his own successful steals, he might have the highest plus-minus stolen base statistic of any catcher.
That's like the football giveaway takeaway statistic.
Well, the hockey plus-minus, when you're on the ice, you score, they score. Be interesting to figure that one out.
Hey, nice. They've got too many statistics already. It's fantastic, these statistics you can derive if you want to spend all afternoon long with the USA Today and the statistics that are shown there.
That pitch hung up, but it's run down with the big strides of Bernie Williams in center field. It was a hanging curveball, and ZOSKY drove it well, but Bernie Williams, who can cover some real estate, got to that one. 2 away.
Mike MAKSUDIAN to the plate has #2 in the league and runs batted in with 19. He's played only 20 games. Had the opportunity to talk to him after last night's game when he drove in 3 runs, and he says, all right, I'm driving in runs, but he's given credit to Butch Davis, who set the table in front of him. Butch Davis not in the ball game tonight, but Davis seems to be in scoring position whenever MAKSUDIAN's at bat.
Mike does not get cheated on his swing, as you saw there. He has a single tonight, scored the Chiefs' first run, and then he was put out on a play with the first baseman to the pitcher covering. No balls and a strike. Here's Russ Springer's pitch. Breaking pitch and a beautiful curveball. No balls and 2 strikes. Fastball sails high and away. 1-2 the count now to Mike MAKSUDIAN. Look how he studies his bat, almost talks to his bat. Swing and a miss, and Springer throws it by MAKSUDIAN, who's still talking to his bat as the 5th inning comes to a close. The Chiefs go down in order with the pickoff, or the batter caught stealing. Now at the end of 5, it is still Columbus 1 and Syracuse 1 as you watch it on Cable 13.
All we are, right here in Syracuse, we're the heart of New York.
Looking for local coverage of the running sports? Less than excited by the network affiliates' lack of attention to track, road running, and cross country? Then get on the stick and drop into the world of Central New York running. From April through November, we bring you timely interviews, the ups and downs of competition, training and racing tips, and the most up-to-date race calendar anywhere. Join the crowd that loves Central New York running. Presented by Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods and Reebok, Tuesdays at 8:30 and Fridays at 7:30 on Syracuse's Cable 13.
And we go now to the 6th inning with the Syracuse Chiefs and the Columbus Clippers locked in a 1-1 tie. And here is Mike MAKSUDIAN talking to his bat.
That bat, you do that one more time and you're going to be firewood.
Here's Joel Marinas to take you through the 6th inning with Doug Linton on the mound for the Chiefs.
All right, it's a 1-1 ball game in the 6th. The rubber game of the series. The question of the day, can the Syracuse Chiefs win 2 in a row for the 5th time this year? Every time they've won 1 ball game, they've won 2 ball games. And this is the 2nd. And they'd like to go on for a 3-game winning streak and get close to that 500 mark. Chiefs are 9-18 on the season. Dave Silvestri, out of the University of Missouri, hit 19 home runs last year for the Albany Colony Yankees in the Eastern League. Because Dave Silvestri's been playing every day, Torey Lovello's had spot duty. Lovello playing at third base tonight as they gave Bam Bam Mullins the night off. Bam Bam Mullins last night committed 4 errors, and they said, well, Bam Bam, you've had a couple of boo-boos this game, so sit down for 1 day at least. But here's Dave Silvestri, the shortstop, to be followed by Torey Lovello and the J.T. Snow. Linton starts him out with an outside pitch on just on the corner. He paints that corner beautifully. Stay ahead, throw strikes. The best pitch in baseball is strike 1.
Silvestri was batting when Linton picked off Mike Humphreys to end the 5th inning.
Breaking pitch. In at the knees. Couple of beauties. Use that expression, painting the corners or hitting the black. Perfect examples on two different kinds of pitches there from Lent. He's out in front, 0-2. Now it'll probably be a waste pitch trying to get Dave Silvestri to chase one. The 0-2. Fastball high outside, just missed. And looking in the official rules of baseball, the official rules, mind you, I checked on this because of the controversy of what the strike zone is. The strike zone nowadays is halfway between the belt and the letters and the knee. That's the official ruling, but it's not being called that way. It's being called belt and down. The 1-2 swung on, fly ball to center field, shallow center. On comes the nonchalant center fielder. Ryan Thompson puts it away. Ryan has a way of getting a quick start, and when he knows he's got it measured, he'll slow up. This time he had to really run hard all the way to come in.
He's been getting a good jump all night long, Joel, and the wind holding up many of the balls that are being hit to center field and left field because it's blowing so strongly to right.
Torey Lovello at the plate. He is driven in the 1 run, driven in quotes, walking with the bases loaded. Takes one low, ball 1. Salvatore Lovello, very personable young man. His father in television as the producer of the Hee-Haw program. And Torey was on that show as an infant, probably popping up out of the cornfield with a joke with the very well-endowed young ladies on that program. 2 balls and no strikes now to Torey Lovello out of UCLA. College teammate of Alex Sanchez and Todd Zeal, among others. Doug Linton from Southern California, from Orange, California. The 2-0. And he falls behind, 3 balls and no strikes.
What do they call a person from Orange, California?
An orange man? What?
I'm asking you, is he an orangeman?
No, but I know what else he is. He's an anteater from UCal Irvine, the Anteaters. 3-0 to Lovello. The pitch. ZOSKY short hops it. Was frozen, then throws him out. Looked like Eddie didn't know whether to come in, where the ball was sinking on him. Kind of took a quick dive and he short hopped it.
He played it well because when that ball's coming right at you sometimes you can't tell if it's going to carry to you on the fly or not. And that's a tough play on that short hop.
Okay, here it is. You're right, the shortstop. You're the shortstop. Boop. He does take it on the short hop. No question. Only question is, will he throw it accurately? And he did. Although it was kind of sinking in that throw from our angle. Throw to good glove man Martinez. Here is J.T. Snow. Way up in the air to right field, driving Pederson back. Camps catches. They go in order in the 6th inning. And it's still 1-1. The Syracuse Chiefs and the Columbus Clippers in the rubber game of this series. All knotted at 1.
The Syracuse Chiefs play here all season long on Cable 13. This is Dave Cohen inviting you to join us for exclusive coverage of Syracuse Chiefs baseball in May, June, July, and August. Follow the Major League stars of tomorrow today on Cable 13. And stay with the Chiefs as they strive for the International League pennant while contributing to the Blue Jays' effort to win the American League pennant. It's Syracuse Chiefs baseball only on Cable 13.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats. 'Cause they play real pretty in the old Salt City. Gonna rock them down to the feet. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
Sprague, Martinez, and Pederson to face Rudd Springer. We just heard from leather-lung Jack Durkin, one of the habitués of MacArthur Stadium. Come on out and enjoy. He loves his work. Sure makes a pretty good buck in the stands, too. Russ Springer and Doug Linton all knotted up. If it were not for a couple of unearned runs, we'd have a scoreless battle. As it is, 1-1.
Getting a little bit of warm-up action now in the Columbus Clipper bullpen. Andy Cook is up and throwing. And it's been that kind of day That's warm-up action of a different kind.
Right. Well, I tell you, the temperature dropped 20 degrees, plummeted today. There's Andy Cook in the bullpen. Went from 83 down to 63 at game time.
Probably down to 53 now.
Ed Sprague drove in a run with a single in the first inning, fly to left field. This game definitely has a California tint to it. Ed Sprague from Stockton, California, played at Stanford. Springer's pitch, way low.
You know, I wonder, Joel, you're close to the players, traveling with them. Do they get to see anything in the area around Syracuse? Do they get up to the Thousand Islands or out to the Finger Lakes or to Cooperstown?
Pitch is swung on. Answer your question, yes, indeed they do. Affirmative, especially on the days off. They have had a number of days off. Many of them take the time to drive over to Niagara Falls. Everybody's got to see Niagara Falls. Some go up fishing. A lot of fishermen, a lot of golfers. They get around. Many do go to the Thousand Islands. Sprague falls behind 0-2 as he peels one off foul to the right.
So they do come away from Syracuse with impressions of more than just the city and the ballpark.
Yeah, of course, Dan Hart and myself being the locals, we continue to have to defend Central New York, but they find out after a while it's a very attractive place. Fly ball down the right field line, and it is going to land harmlessly in foul ground. Count will remain 0-2 to the leadoff batter in the 6th. This game may come down to relative strengths of the bullpen. And that question has yet to be answered with any finality for Syracuse this year. Columbus has had good strength in the bullpen. Syracuse has been spotty. They were talking yesterday about Yogi Berra's 67th birthday, and when he was manager of the Mets back in 1973, he uttered one of his immortal phrases: "If you ain't got a bullpen, you ain't got nothing." And
to wit.
So I'm just saying we're setting that up because right now we're 1-1 in the 6th. Sprague hoists one high in foul ground. LOVULLO did not have any room, goes way back in the stands. All right. Popcorn in one hand, baseball in the other. Yesterday, Sprague had a double to left center field, 400 feet from the plate, but if you straightened it out after the height, it would have been a 500-foot.
Yeah, that was a towering shot.
1-2. And he doesn't get all of this one. Left field coming on as Humphreys makes the catch. One down in the 6th. Domingo Martinez has drawn 2 bases on balls from Russ Springer right there. Springer from Pollock, Louisiana. And Domingo Martinez, considerably south of East Louisiana, from the Dominican Republic. He's walked twice, took some extra batting practice today, and was launching moonshots in practice. BP. High. You know, it's not easy to hit the long ball in BP. They use old baseballs, and the pitch is not coming with great velocity. You have to power it yourself. He had a couple against the scoreboard and left, and 2 on the roof of the old clubhouse and right in BP.
You went after that high one, though.
Got to make contact. However, it was close to being hung out over the plate, and catcher AUSMUS was alarmed. Goes out to Russ Springer and says, "Don't do that."
That last batter, Ed Sprague, jumped on a hanging curveball and didn't get all of it, as you said, and it went into left field and was caught for an easy out.
They say it's a game of inches. What game is not a game of inches, but just a bit different where you hit the ball, whether it's a pop-up or a long drive.
And Springer's high again, which may be a sign of fatigue creeping in. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Domingo Martinez has walked twice, as you've said.
The 2-1. He drives this one high and deep to left center field. Looks like center fielder Bernie Williams has got it measured. Wind is holding it up, and he makes the catch. Again, just maybe a quarter of an inch different in where he contacted in the sweet spot, and it goes. Other than that, it's a long fly out.
To PEDERSON.
And you saw right there the wind actually changing the trajectory as the ball came back to the right, as the wind is blowing from left to right, and allowed Williams to make the catch relatively easily.
2 down, bottom of the 6th, 1-1. Stu swings, pops one up to the left side of the infield. Lovullo wants it. He's got it. And the Chiefs go in order in the 6th inning. Got a good one here. Classic pitchers battle, 1-1 after 6 innings. My pleasure being with you, Dan. Dave, I'm going over to be Dan with Dan now. Dave Cohen, thanks for being with you, and it's 1-1 after 6.
The smart money is on Budget Rent-A-Car for quality sales and service. Budget offers inexpensive airport valet parking with conveniences such as maintenance and car washing. Budget has a free shuttle bus service to the airport, and Budget's friendly and courteous staff can have you on your way to your destination in no time. For the business traveler, Budget offers cellular phone service. And don't forget Budget's used car sales with some of the lowest prices in town. Budget Rent-A-Car, Taft Road in North Syracuse. For quality sales and service, the smart money is on Budget.
Fortunately, many Americans have found a way to respond to HIV.
You got a friend that's got AIDS.
What? They're shooting us? You think that's the only way
They're
people get
educating
AIDS?
their employees,
The issue here is education. AIDS is growing fast.
their communities,
in small towns.
especially their friends and their families.
Last year I found out that I have HIV.
If we're going to prevent the spread of HIV, each and every one of us must do our part. Find out how you can help prevent HIV.
We're back with you on Cable 13 as we go down to the top of the 7th inning in a 1-1 game, a pitcher's battle between Doug Linton of the Syracuse Chiefs and Russ Springer of the Columbus Clippers. The Chiefs, who came from behind last night and for the first time this year were able to post a victory after trailing beyond the 6th inning. Columbus generally has won baseball games in which they have led past the 6th inning and even more so past the 7th. And the Chiefs last night rallied to win that game in extra innings.
The designated hitter, Dave Sachs.
Dan Hoard joins us again here as we get ready for the Columbus Clippers to bat in the 7th inning, and Dave Sachs is up to lead off. He has walked and fly to center field. Doug Linton has allowed only 2 hits. One of those was a legitimate hit, a single. The other was a windblown single. Breaking pitch a little bit high to Dave Sachs. Infield, outfield, play Sachs straight away. That breaking pitch drops in for a called strike. That was Doug Linton's curveball.
Doug Linton's pitched well tonight, and I think has reestablished himself as a legitimate prospect. It might not be with the Blue Jays since they have good starting pitching, but certainly with expansion coming up, if he can keep up his performances this season, he might have a shot at it next year.
That was the slider right there, and it's a count now, 2 balls and 1 strike.
He was a very low draft choice by the Blue Jays. I believe the 43rd round. Those guys usually don't advance to AAA ball.
Outside, it's 3-1 now.
When Doug was a high school pitcher, he was about 5'4", and it's pretty tough to get a college scholarship as a pitcher when you're that small. He went to Cal Irvine originally to study medicine, did play baseball. He made the team, and he grew and became a prospect as he did.
Swinging strike 2, and the count goes full. Doug Linton now stands 6'1" and 190 pounds.
It's a pretty good growth. Yeah, pretty good growth spurt. It might be a slight exaggeration to say 5'4". Perhaps it was 5'6", but he was very short in high school. And then went to pitch at Cal Irvine. He pitched one summer in the Alaskan Summer League. And in that Summer League, he was the co-MVP with a pitcher named Mike Harkey, who was a great prospect for the Cubs a few years ago before coming down with some arm trouble. And as a result, even though he was a low draft choice by Toronto, he got a pretty good signing bonus.
Breaking pitch hit to third, backhanded by Quinlan. His throw to Martinez is perfect. A gem by Tom Quinlan to take away a possible extra base hit. Off the bat of Dave Sachs, there's one away here in the top of the 7th.
Tom Quinlan has done an excellent job defensively at third this season. His hitting has obviously been off in the early portion of the season, but his defensive work has been excellent at third, particularly on slow rollers. He makes the charging barehanded pickup and throw to first, as well as about any third baseman who's played in Syracuse in recent years, including Kelly Gruber.
Billy Massey, the hitter now. He sawed him off, and the slow grass slows it down. The barehander by Shunk in time. That is one very, very difficult play, and there again the indication of how thick the grass is, not only here, but everywhere you go in Syracuse. Beautiful play by Jerry Shunk. Back-to-back gems.
And that was essentially the kind of play that we were talking about with Tom Quinlan. Instead, it was Jerry Shunk showing his ability to make the play.
That ball just hugged the grass from the time it left the batter's box until it reached the skin portion of the infield.
It's definitely a ground ball pitcher's field right now.
Quinlan in at third base as the breaking pitch misses outside to Bobby Desjardins.
At least it is where the thickness of the grass is concerned. There are some bumps and bad hops there after all the rain that fell in April, but it is definitely a slow surface.
Well, I wonder, are they using mulching mowers, or are they still raking it up, vacuuming it up?
That's a question for the ground crew and its lead man, Mark Watson.
2 outs here in the 7th, a 1-1 count. Big curveball, it drops in.
And since we've already had 5 people in the booth tonight, maybe Mark can run on up here. It doesn't look like we're going to have any rain to worry about.
An enthusiastic crowd, not great in number, but enjoying themselves. There's the guy who always does, Joe Godley.
Joe has informed me that he will be selling his products at both All-Star games this year, the Major League All-Star game in San Diego and the AAA All-Star game in Richmond, Virginia.
Little bit high.
You never know where Joe will show up when you least expect it. There in the background of some Super Bowl crowd shot, there's Joe selling a box of popcorn.
And you know what? You could be on the other side of the stadium and Joe is hailing you.
That's right.
On the ground to Martinez, he'll play it by himself. And it becomes a 1-2-3 inning. And then you got to look at some of the defensive prowess of the Syracuse Chiefs around the infield. 7th inning stretch time here at Big Mac. Domingo gets a ball for infield duties when the Chiefs come out again. And in the middle of the 7th, it's a 1-1 tie.
Fans time for the 7th inning.
This is Syracuse University athlete George Rooks.
And they run the draw play, and George Rooks again combining with Wentworth, and they swallow up Eric Reck.
This is George Rooks, the student.
Student athletes means exactly what it says. You're students first, you're athletes second. Students last a lot longer than athletes do. The average career for professional football players, 3.5 years. Average career for a student who graduates degree is because you can't put a number on it.
Today, there's a good chance you know someone with HIV. People with HIV can look just as healthy as anyone else. You can't tell if someone is infected with the virus just by looking at them. In fact, the person you're with right now might have HIV. Talk to your partner about HIV.
Learn how to prevent HIV infection. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
As we rejoin you here at MacArthur Stadium, Dave Cohen and Dan Hoard, the Columbus Clippers, have gone to a new pitcher. Andy Cook is in the game now for Columbus after 6 very impressive innings by Russ Springer. Have you seen Andy Cook work before?
Cook has pitched a couple of times in relief against Syracuse, including 2 nights ago here at MacArthur Stadium. He pitched very briefly in the Clippers' series opening win. Not the type of pitcher that throws any single pitch that overwhelms you, but he's had good control this year and has done a successful job working in long relief for Columbus.
That guy in the first row there on the left is saying,
Now pitching for the Clippers.
I wore shorts today because it was hot.
There's Andy Cook. Looks like a golf ball in his cheek. It's just a very big wad of tobacco. 1 win, no losses, and a 1.08 earned run average. Look at that wad of tobacco. This man is definitely trying to take the place of Sparky Lyle in the Yankee pen. That's not a golf ball, that's a baseball in his cheek. He leads the league in tobacco.
Hope he's read some of the reports.
Yeah. It is not a healthy thing to do, but it is still very common among ball players.
And he works here in the bottom of the 7th to Tom Quinlan, and he misses outside, ball 1. Chiefs 1, Columbus 1.
My jaw hurts. My cheek hurts.
Hard slider, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Maybe it's gum. Maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's not in that cheek,
Yeah,
whatever it
I
is.
guess
Here's the 2-0. Has a little bit of a hop step there at the height of his delivery, and he's behind 3-0.
Columbus has an excellent bullpen. The stopper, Mike Draper, has 7 saves already. That's more than the entire Syracuse pen.
And he walks him on 4 pitches coming out of the bullpen. So it's a leadoff walk in the 7th. And now the chief batter will be Scott Wade, who drove a pitch well over the left field wall, but foul last time up. He cleared that wall by about 100 feet.
Sure, a few people are wondering why Springer came out of the game at the end of 6. He had only given up 1 run. It was unearned. He had only allowed 4 hits. They were all singles. His last inning had been very impressive. 3 quick outs from 3 tough hitters, Sprague, Martinez, and Pederson. But keep in mind that first inning when he threw 36 pitches. That really ate up a lot of the pitches that he's probably allowed to throw by the Yankees organization. And by my count, he left at the end of 6, having thrown 102 deliveries.
Tom Quinlan at first, not a threat to run. Scott Wade showed the bunt. Is Nick Leyva more likely to use a bunt than Bob Baylor was?
I think so. Slightly more likely. I think his experience as a National League manager has probably made him a bit more fond of the bunt than Bob Baylor, although it's sometimes difficult to tell at the AAA level because there are things done for development that might not be done for strategy.
And the bunt in the air, fielded. The throw, there won't be a throw to first base, as Scott Wade, unable to get the ball down on the ground, and coming off the mound quickly to make the play was Andy Cook.
It's actually the 2nd straight game where Scott has been unable to get a bunt down in a key situation. He came up with runners at first and second yesterday and bunted the ball sharply back on the ground to the pitcher, and it was thrown to third for the force play.
There's Jerry Shunk. He's been up twice. He's singled, and he grounded out to second base. Both times against Russ Springer. Both times on fastballs. Good contact hitter. Ball 1. JT Snow holds the runner. Quinlan on at first. Butch Davis not in the Chiefs lineup tonight. Available, I assume, for pinch hitting duty. Each of the starters in this game picked the man off first base. Fielded by Cook. He goes to second. The relay is in time. A 1-6-3 double play. And credit the pitcher with some excellent fielding, Andy Cook, in that inning. And so the Chiefs come up with nothing to show here in their half of the 7th inning. And now at the end of 7, it is still Syracuse 1 and Columbus 1.
These are some Indian friends of mine in the Amazon. Their lives today are in great danger. Their beautiful home in the rainforest is being destroyed by logging, mining, and ranching at a rate of 60 football fields a minute. This is the rainforest in 1900. And this is the rainforest today. And this is the rainforest in 30 years if present trends continue. It's all gone. The lungs of the earth destroyed. The forest burns, the planet heats up. The greenhouse effect. Floods, droughts, famines. I'm worried about the world we're leaving our children. If you want to protect the rainforest for the Indians, the wild animals, for yourself and your children, you can help create vast Amazon national parks like in the US by making a donation to the Rainforest Foundation. A few dollars or as much as you can before it's too late. Thank you.
Columbus with only 2 hits in the first 7 innings. And Doug Linton out now to pitch the 8th inning. He has been in command all night. We had rain about an hour before game time. We've had no rain or any threat of rain since this game got underway at 7 o'clock. Dan, would you say this is Linton's most impressive outing of the year?
It's up there. He has pitched impressively every time he's pitched here at MacArthur Stadium. In the home opener against Grand Wilkes-Barre, he gave up 1 run in 6 innings and got the win. Last time he pitched a home game, he worked 7 strong innings, so he has definitely worked well in his home ballpark. He's thrown 100 pitches as he gets set to begin his 8th inning. Brad Ausmus, the catcher, leads off. He'll be followed by Bernie Williams and then Mike Humphreys. Linton's delivery. Fastball for a strike.
Yep. Ausmus, despite the fact he bats number 9, is not an easy man, as you pointed out, for the Chiefs to retire. Reached on an error, and then he walks. He's been on base twice. Fastball and a half-hearted swing, and Ryan Thompson with a diving catch. On a ball that was tailing away from him, but a tremendous start, and one of the great plays of the night. Ryan Thompson, look at it again.
Been some great defensive plays right from the very beginning. Jerry Shunk made that leaping catch of a line drive in the first. He made the excellent charging barehanded play just an inning ago, and now Ryan Thompson adding his name to the list with the excellent leaping catch in center.
Quinlan had a good one at third base on the backhander. And J.T. Snow with a dive in the hole.
Right.
And a dive to the bag. Now here's Bernie Williams with 1 out in the 8th. Last time up, Bernie grounded into a double play as Eddie ZOSKY took it behind the bag at second, stepped on the base, and threw to first. Doug Linton with a no ball, 1 strike count. In the air and foul. Our producer director tonight, Frank Rafka, recently honored on behalf of Adelphia Cable with a Cable Ace Award in Dallas, Texas.
Well deserved.
2nd year in a row. And 3rd time in 6 years. Here's Bernie Williams with the 0-2 pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. The award was in the category of best sports events coverage in a series. And the Super Sports Series that we're all involved in: Syracuse football, basketball, lacrosse, women's basketball, track and field, wrestling. And you combine that with Chiefs baseball again, you can say they all play here, and they do. Swing and a miss. Linton with a hard slider to the left-hander, down and in, and there are 2 away in the 8th. I'm really impressed by the way he has pitched tonight.
Only the 3rd strikeout for Doug. That's a little fewer than he usually gets, but he has been getting them out. He got that breaking ball by Bernie Williams. 8 in a row retired by Linton, so he does not appear to be tiring in the 8th. Mike Humphreys has been his nemesis.
He has both of the Columbus hits. A wind-blown single and a line drive.
Doug Linton's facial expression certainly hasn't changed much. He has remained stoic throughout.
There's that backdoor slider. Looks like it's going to come inside to a right-hander at the last moment. It breaks over the inside portion of the plate. That's a tough pitch for a hitter. 0-2, what will he do? Came with the overhand curve, and Ryan Thompson retreats 3 or 4 steps, puts it away in a 1-2-3 8th inning. So Linton continues to be in command, and we have completed 7.5 at Big Mac, and we're still tied at 1-1.
The Syracuse Chiefs play here all season long on Cable 13. This is Dave Cohen inviting you to join us for exclusive coverage of Syracuse Chiefs baseball in May, June, July, and August. Follow the Major League stars of tomorrow today on Cable 13. And stay with the Chiefs as they strive for the International League pennant while contributing to the Blue Jays' effort to win the American League pennant. It's Syracuse Chiefs baseball only on Cable 13.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old Salt City. We're gonna rock them down to the beat. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
Well, the lights are dimming. They're still going, but they are dimming.
Ryan Thompson.
The lights are on, but no one is home, right?
Probably somebody at home watching on TV saying, my husband did it again. He left the lights on. Here we are in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Ryan Thompson was at a very busy night in center field and just made a great diving catch. Is up to lead off. Struck out twice and walked once. He's had 8 putouts in center field. Facing Andy Cook here in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 1-1 game. Chiefs got their run in the first. Bounce foul. Eddie ZOSKY is on deck, and then Mike MAKSUDIAN. Look, there's nobody in the dugout for Columbus. Big pop of the catcher's mitt, but it's 2 balls and a strike now. Went after a pitch that was low and a high hop to short, and it gets by the shortstop. That should be a base hit.
That was spinning like a top and took a crazy carom to the left of shortstop Dave Silvestri.
Look where that ball was.
And watch the bounce. Boing. That was like a super ball.
Interesting to see Ryan Thompson hit that ball. It was about 2 inches off of the plate, and his first 2 at-bats he was struck out on very high pitches. So he's come back as a hitter tonight, earning a walk his 3rd time up, and that time getting a hit on a pitch that was definitely very low. Here's Eddie ZOSKY. Nobody out, and the Chiefs have the lead run at first base. They look for the bunt. Pitch out. Throw back to first. He's picked off. Oh, and they call him safe.
Great play by Ryan Thompson. He dove toward the bag with his right hand. When J.T. Snow went to tag it, he pulled that hand in, reached out with his left, and got there safely.
Actually, I think it was Desjardins who snuck in the second baseman to take the throw. He was picked off in the sense that the ball got there before he got back to the bag.
Great play by Columbus. They sent the first and third baseman in and snuck the second baseman in behind at first. Now watch the right hand come back and the left hand reach for the bag. See where the tag was? The tag was toward Thompson's right shoulder, and he snuck his right hand back toward his body and stuck the left hand out to grab the bag. That's a call that, quite honestly, usually goes in the fielder's direction. And wow, Rick Down showing his punting form in the Columbus dugout.
Yeah, usually if the ball beats the runner back that cleanly and that clearly, the tag is almost incidental.
I've never seen that play run before. It's a great play by Columbus. Send the first and third baseman sprinting in, sneak the second baseman behind the runner at first, then call a pitch out and fire the ball to first base. Thompson was completely fooled and was very lucky to get back safely.
Now the bunt. Snow charges. He'll go to second in time. Great play by Snow. We have a spiked player, perhaps. Silvestri, the shortstop. Maybe just jammed. J.T. Snow, an excellent fielder at first base. Nice stretch by Silvestri, and then Thompson tried to take him out.
Chiefs have had 3 bunting situations in this game and have not been able to get the runner to second base. ZOSKY in the 5th inning. Ryan Thompson ended up being gunned down trying to steal. Scott Wade popped up a bunt in the 7th, and now ZOSKY can't advance the runner here in the 8th.
And Mike MAKSUDIAN is the hitter. Rick Down probably has ample reason to be upset about that play. Like you said, it's an unusual one. They executed it perfectly, and then the easiest part of it, slapping the glove on the runner, they missed it. That was one case too, Dan, where the umpire had excellent position to make the call. Count of 1 ball and no strikes to Mike MAKSUDIAN. Andy Cook. They've had 2 runners and nearly a third picked off first tonight. We've had runners thrown out at second base trying to steal. ZOSKY, not much of a threat to run on his own. Count of 2-0 to MAKSUDIAN. Well, will he get the fastball now?
If he does, he can give it a ride.
MAKSUDIAN with 3 home runs on the year. You want to get it in the air to right field with the wind blowing that way. But they pitch him away, and the count goes to 3-0. On deck is Ed Sprague.
Nick Leyva is pretty aggressive in giving hitters the green light on 3-0, particularly if it's an RBI hitter. And with a gap on the right side of the infield with ZOSKY being held, wouldn't be surprised if MAKSUDIAN is given the opportunity to swing if he likes the pitch.
They're going to try to work outside again, as you see the catcher AUSMUS set up there. Ripped into right field for a base hit. ZOSKY will make the turn at second, go to third. It's played back. MAKSUDIAN with a wide turn at first. And Mike MAKSUDIAN turned loose on a 3-0 situation. Has put runners at the corner with 1 man out here in the 8th in a 1-1 game.
And the green light pays off. MAKSUDIAN got a pitch he could handle. It was not out, way out over the plate. It wasn't at the catcher's glove. The target was outside, but that one got a lot of the plate, and MAKSUDIAN was able to rip it through that vacated first baseman spot, giving Syracuse the go-ahead run 90 feet from the plate.
Now Ed Sprague looks down to Rocket Wheeler at third base. Andy Cook, since coming into the game, has not recorded very many ground ball outs. In case Columbus is thinking double play, but a off-speed delivery and Sprague out ahead of it.
Well, Cook started a double play himself in the last inning, a 1-6-3 twin killing. Clippers have a good defensive infield in there tonight. Bam Bam Mullins, who is not a strong fielder at third, got tonight off after having a rough night in the field last night.
Torey Lovullo is down there at third. Good job, and it gets away from the catcher, and here comes the go-ahead run as Eddie ZOSKY scores. And the Chiefs take a 2-1 lead on the wild pitch. For a moment, it looked like AUSMUS did a good job of blocking it, and then it got through him.
He did everything right as a catcher. He tried to use his body to block it. He didn't try to catch it with his glove. He tried to slide over there and do anything he could, like a hockey goalie, to keep the ball in front of him. But the ball had a wicked spin on it and spun by.
On the play, MAKSUDIAN down to second base. 2-1 Syracuse. Nearly another wild pitch. There is no warm-up action in either bullpen. Doug Linton obviously will come out to pitch the ninth for Syracuse, looking to go the distance. And now he has a 2-1 lead, and it could become more significant before the inning is over. Off-speed delivery, and it sails inside.
Almost the second you mentioned that, Dave, Rick Trilicek has just started to loosen up in the bullpen for Syracuse, so he'll get ready just in case. And there is big number 35 with a blue glove, Rick Trilicek.
3 balls and a strike. The pitch, breaking pitch in there to Sprague. It's 3-2. Ed Sprague with a single and 3 at-bats. He drove in the Chiefs' first run. And he draws a walk from Andy Cook.
Nick Leva not smiling yet, and he has all the wheels in motion now. He's added a left-hander in the bullpen. Gene Walter is warming up, along with the righty Rick Trilicek.
All this coming with 1 man out. Domingo has walked twice and flied to center. Fastball in for a called strike. The chief runner at second is MAKSUDIAN. Ed Sprague is down at first. Not much in the way of speed on the bases, but there is power at the plate. Hit toward the second baseman. Double play possibility, and they turn it easily. Against the slow-footed Domingo Martinez, 4-6-3. And the Columbus Clippers have stopped the Chiefs here after 1 run scored in the bottom of the 8th on a wild pitch. So in the inning, the Chiefs got 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors. And 1 man left on base. So now at the end of 8, it is Syracuse 2 and Columbus 1.
Okay, folks, listen, I need your attention. There's a lot of stuff to cover today, and I'd like to get started as soon as possible.
"40 years ago, the United Nations wrote and adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article number 20 says, everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. There are 29 other rights guaranteed in this document. You should know them. To get your copy, write Amnesty International, P.O. Box 37137, Washington, D.C., 20013. If you don't know your rights, how can you defend them?
We're back with you live at MacArthur Stadium. I guess that's the moon. It's either that or a close-up of that guy's headlight in the parking lot. Well, they tell me his lights are out, so that is the moon. Here in the 9th inning, Syracuse leads Columbus 2-1. Doug Linton looking to finish off the Clippers and give the Chiefs